This is the question asked in today's skillrack daily challenge. So in the first line of our input, we are given three integers as input. So the first integer is r, and the second integer is c, and the third integer is n. And here the value of n is equal to 3. So in the second line, we are given three more integers as input. Suppose if value of n is equal to 4, then we will be given 4 integers in the second line as input. And now our task is to create a seating arrangement for the classroom, and it is given in the question that the classroom is of size r cross c, which is represented in a matrix format. So the values of r and c is 5 into 4. So I am creating a 5 cross 4 matrix, and initially all the values in the matrix are 0. So now this particular matrix represents the classroom, and we have to create a seating arrangement for n group of students. So the value of n is equal to 3. So totally there will be 3 group of students numbered from 1 to n. So the first group is 1, and the second group is 2, and the third group is 3. And here these 3 integers represents the number of students in every group. So in the first group there are 5 people, and in the second group there are 8 people, and in the third group there are 7 people. So that is what these 3 integers in the second line of our input represent. So now let us fill the first group students. So totally there are 5 students who belong to the first group, and it is given in the question that the seating arrangement will always be from the last row of the matrix. The last row of the matrix is considered as the first row of the classroom, and the students will always be seated from left to right. So first our task is to fill 5 students who belong to the group 1 from the last row. So I am setting the first 5 integers in the matrix as 1, and we must always do this from left to right. So now we have calculated the seating arrangement for the group 1 students. So this is how the 5 students who belong to group 1 will be sitting in the classroom. Now we have to do this for group 2. So there are 8 students who belong to group 2. So now the next 8 integers in the matrix must be filled with 2. So I am going to do that. So here also we have to follow the same procedure. We have to move from bottom to up in the row wise, and the column should be starting from left to right. So in this procedure we are going to fill the next 8 integers with 2. So this is how the group 2 students will be sitting. So I will highlight the group 2 students. So totally there are 8 students who belong to group 2, and this is how the group 2 students will be sitting in the particular given classroom, which is of size 5 into 4. And now the next group 3, and there are 7 people who belong to group 3. So the remaining all zeros will be updated with 3. So that will be the seating arrangement for the group 3 students, and again we will be following the same procedure. We will be filling the students from left to right. So this is how the seating arrangement is being calculated for the particular classroom. So now this matrix represents the seating arrangement for n group of students. So in our output we have to print this matrix. So this will be the required output. Now let us see how to write a C program for this. So first I am creating 3 integer variables named r, c and n, and in the next line using a scanf statement I am accepting the values of r, c and n. And then I am creating a matrix named mat of size r cross c. So it is nothing but a 2-dimensional array, and initially all the values in the matrix must be 0. So to do that we can create a for loop and iterate through all the index and make the values 0, or we can use memset function. So in the memset function, first we have to give the name of the array, which is mat, and then we have to give 0 because we have to make all the values in the matrix as 0, and in the third argument we have to give the size of the 2-dimensional array. So in this case the size will be r into c into size of int. So when you give these 3 values in the arguments of memset function, all the values in the 2-dimensional array mat will be updated to 0. So now we have made all the values in the matrix as 0, and till now we have accepted only the values of r, c and n. So we have to accept n integers as input. So I am creating a for loop, and this for loop iterates from 1 to I less than or equal to n. Here we iterate from 1 to n because we can use this value of I as a group. So the value of I is nothing but the group to which the particular student belongs, and we have to accept n more integers. So in every iteration of this loop I am creating a variable count, and using a scanf statement I am accepting the count as input. So this count is nothing but the number of students present in the ith group, and as per the conditions given in the question, the seating must be started from the last row because the last row is considered as the first row, and the students must be seated from left to right. So I am creating a for loop, a nested loop that iterates as per the conditions given in the question. So here we can see that the row loop starts from r minus 1 and iterates till row greater than or equal to 0. So we are moving from bottom to up, and the column must be started from left to right. So we are not making any changes in the column loop. So the column loop as usual starts from 0 and iterates till column less than c. So we are iterating as per the conditions given in the question, and in every iteration a particular student can be filled in that particular index only if it is free. And if the particular index is already occupied, then the student should move to the next available index. So in every iteration, first we are checking whether matrix of row column equal to 0 or not. If it is equal to 0, then it means the particular index is free. Else we would have filled with some other different group of students. So first we have to check whether matrix of row column is equal to 0. If it is true, then the particular index is free. So if this condition is satisfied, the next what we will be checking is, we will be checking whether the count is greater than 0. So we have to fill count number of students who belong to the ith group. So after filling every student, we will be decrementing the count. So at one point the count will become equal to 0. And once the count becomes equal to 0, then we should stop filling the student who belong to that particular group. So whenever the count is greater than 0 and matrix of row column equal to 0, then we will be filling the value of I at the index matrix of row and column, and we will decrement the count. So like this we will be doing for all the values in every iteration of the I loop. So finally, after the execution of the I loop, now our matrix should have been updated. So using a nested loop, we can print our output matrix, which is nothing but the required output. So this is the logic. Thank you for watching.